which have been a setback, particularly to the Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa faction. And an event that worried so many people was the press briefing that was conducted by none other than Chris Mutsvangwa, the current ZANU PF Secretary for Information and Publicity, the only position, influential position that he is now holding in ZANU PF. He got himself in trouble and he was fired as part of the cabinet, fired from the cabinet of Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa as one of the ministers of Mnangagwa. This time around, we know that he is not in favor of the retired General Chiwenga faction. On the other hand, he appears not to be in favor of some of the developments that have taken place of the Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa faction. Now positioning himself in such a manner, will that not put him in trouble? Will he not feature into the ZANU PF Politburo meeting? Is he not part of the reasons why the ZANU PF Politburo meeting has been called? Greetings and welcome on your lovely channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. I think one of the individuals in ZANU PF that have put himself in trouble, I strongly believe he has put himself in serious trouble, is none other than Chris Mutsvanga. What he said, especially about Gudawa Shetakwire, of which we know that Gudawa Shetakwire is the man for Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa. So if you are going against Gudawa Shetakwire, you are equally going against Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa. That is why you see all these parallel structures of Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa are behind Gudawa Shetakwire, and he is also using the Twitter, the X handle of government, by the way, because he was appointed into the Land Tenure Committee by Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa, which means he's part and parcel in some way of what Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa is intending to do. And Chris Mutsvangwa is well aware that Gudawa Shetakwire serves the interest of Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa coming through to the Politburo. If it becomes a success, Mnangagwa wants Gudawa Shetakwire to take over from him. Why is he afraid? We know that Mnangagwa has done a lot of unforgivable acts, particularly to retired General Chiwenga, and he is afraid that if he takes over somehow, Mnangagwa may find himself in jail, and also the retired General Chiwenga winning the case in South Africa to be actually returned everything that was bought by Mary Mbayiwa through the South African courts, of which that also is suspicious. It shows that somehow Chiwenga appears also to have some form of regional influence. Because of that on its own, we know that in Africa, nothing just happens in isolation. Is it in the interest of Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa for Chiwenga to win the case of Mary Mbayiwa? I don't think so. And I think Mnangagwa has given Chiwenga the hardest and difficult time. So he knows it very, very well that, of course, at the moment he might be speaking the language of brotherhood and so forth. But if you want to hear a part of Chiwenga's heart, listen to what Blessed Geza has said about Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa. That is a reflection of how Chiwenga is feeling, because Chiwenga, Blessed Geza is the man fronting retired General So now we know that the two powerful factions within ZANU PF is the Mnangagwa faction as well as the retired General Chiwenga faction. Previously, Chris Mutsvangwa would go after the faction of retired General Chiwenga, specifically hammering retired General Chiwenga, his lack of education, the pronunciation of some of the English words. He has been hard on him. This time around, I think it was a shock. The last ZANU PF press briefing, he went after Emmerson Mnangagwa straight by going, if you want to know who owns who, hit the person who is fronted by that person. You could tell that there was a lot of anger, especially within Mnangagwa faction. Even Mnangagwa himself had to stand up to sanitize Kudagwashe Takwire. How did he do so? Through playing that golf. Those pictures which we have seen circulating on social media, Kudagwashe Takwire, acting like a drunk man, embracing Emmerson Mnangagwa, giving an impression that they are one, and the state media that indicating that as a team in golf they became number one. That on its own, I can interpret it as symbolic to what Emmerson Mnangagwa intends to do within ZANU PF. Now, so Chris Mutsvangwa may be a top, may be part of the discussion within ZANU PF's politburo, especially his conduct. What he said about Kudagwashe Takwire may be under scrutiny. The mind-boggling question is whether Chiwenga will come to the aid of Chris Mutsvangwa. Now, you cannot tell exactly where Chris Mutsvangwa is. I think I have always said it numerous times that at one point he gives the vibes that is, for example, what he did during that ZANU PF press briefing. It was aiding retired General Chiwenga. In fact, it was supporting retired General Chiwenga, but indirectly. And he poured a lot of cold water to the Emmerson Mnangagwa faction, saying the conference, he spoke a lot of issues. He revealed a lot of information, private information, by the way. And I was left wondering on whether that press briefing was sanctioned by ZANU PF, and on whether Chris Mutsvangwa was given a script on what to say on that press briefing. It is fundamentally important exactly to ask ourselves this question as to who exactly was behind urging Chris Mutsvangwa to carry out that press briefing. Is it Mnangagwa or was it Chiwenga? Definitely ZANU PF going into this politburo, it is going there very, very wounded. The faction, the party is fundamentally divided between the Chiwenga faction as well as the Mnangagwa faction, and also the behavior of Chris Mutsvangwa also added fuel to the already burning ZANU PF. Will this politburo unite the two factions? I strongly don't believe so, because both factions would be seeking to push their intentions, their aspirations through this politburo the very same way they intended to do last time. There is still a talk of 2030 mantra that is divisive in nature. There is, especially the 2030 mantra, there is still a talk of Kudagwashe Takwire that is very, very divisive within ZANU PF, of which I strongly believe even Kudagwashe Takwire will feature prominently in the ZANU PF but of significance. I'll be watching to see what would be done to uncontrollable and disrespectful Chris Mutsvangwa by the Mnangagwa faction. Are they still impressed with him, or they have lost faith in that man. I think only time will tell. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. You can financially support this channel by pressing the subscribe plus button and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button and send us stars.